Hello YouTube artist, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. Today I'm going to share the halfway point of my 100-day project. I know, I can't believe we're already there at the halfway point, 50 days in. So I'm going to share day 1 through day 50 and all the pages in between. It's going to be a fun one. I'm going to talk about my progress, what I've learned, how Random Things has given me a lot of freedom, but also working with my new color chart and trying to play with colors in a new way. It's been an incredible journey already after 50 days. So let's go take a look. These are the supplies that I'm using for my 100 days of Random Things. It is a Princeton Long Round Aqua Elite number 8. That's pretty much the brush I've been using almost throughout the whole journal. I've got a palette of 18 colors. I shared this with you. These are the colors that the 18 palette mixes. Isn't it gorgeous? I know, I'm having so much fun with that. I have a lot of Random Things. And then this is the concertina sketchbook. It is an A5, comes in a case, and it simply unfolds, which I absolutely love. And you can see I am about right here is halfway, so I'm almost halfway through the book. And there's 2 sides of this. There's 35 pages on the front and 35 pages on the back. So I'm going to do a quick flip through so that you can see the progress. But then I will come back and talk about every little spread and share with you what I've learned along the way. Are you ready? This is so exciting. 100 days of Random Things. I just picked Random Things because I didn't want to be forced to do a specific thing every single day. I just wanted to be able to pick what I wanted to pick and draw it and make kind of a nice design with it. I picked the concertina book so that it would kind of be a continuous story over and over and over, which I loved so far. And here's what it looks like as it unfolds. Isn't it fun so far? I marked 50 with this little dice set that I got that was like a calendar, and I just put 50 on there so I would know that that's number 50. You can see there's just so much inside. Some are big, some are small, some take up a lot of space, some take up little space. And now I'm going to take you through the process a little slower so that you can see each and every little piece. I started with a leaf because that's my comfort zone. So this was number 1, this was number 2, this was number 3. Number 4 was the circle and the pencil. Number 5 was the bird. Number 6 was the beehive. Number 7 was this long color strip. I wanted it to look like vintage paper. Number 8 was this giant set of leaves. Number 9 was this little charm with my word stories. That's my word of the year. And number 10 was this little bitty die. I loved having fun creating a little flow. You can see that it just kind of flows into one another really nicely. Some has white space here, got a lot of white space here, and some hardly has any white space. I'm having fun designing with that to see what I like. Do I like it to have more negative, more positive space? Positive is painted, negative is all the spaces in between. And I'm liking having a little bit of both. Some areas I feel like I wanted a little tighter, like this seemed very open, having all this space. But along these leaves here, I wanted it a little tighter, a little more compact, because I liked the way that that kind of made you notice those leaves a lot. Then we went to number 11, which I painted with you guys. And then I went to 12, which is leap year, which is why there's a 29. 13 is the compass and this circle. I really liked the circle that I added here for the pencil. I just like that open space. So I thought I would do the same thing with the compass and then just rest the compass on it so that it brings your eye to the circle, but it's not an element that you really see. You see the compass, you see these things, but then you discover the circle. I like that a lot. Number 14 is the little snail. 15 is this charm here. I had the charm drawn first, and then I just decided to add a string to give it a little more structure. 16 is this old leaf. 17 is the magnifying glass. And then 18 was the tags. 19 was this branch. And then 20 was this card. So think of a postcard in the back. And notice that I'm trying to tie in all the colors as I go. It's got a really nice color flow because I'm using that limited palette of 18 colors. And it's allowing me to not think about color every day. I just am thinking, okay, what color do I need to add to this spread? Like here, I knew I wanted to introduce kind of a peach color and maybe a brighter green because I've been using this dull green. And so from here, you'll notice that things get a little lighter. So that was number 20, and I put the word curiosity there because this is really piquing my curiosity as well as I go, because I am discovering new things. Like I go to my cabinet or I start searching for things to paint, and I'm enjoying that a lot. It's just I have all of these things, and it's fun pulling them out and trying to make them into a cohesive group here. Like this piece here, this arrow is actually a color swatch that I got from the store, but I love the little arrow shape. And then I had a brass key plate that I thought would look kind of nice on there. And it just adds something tiny. It's not a lot, but it was enough for me to give me number 21 and 22. And then I have this twig brush, which is number 23. I needed something bigger, so you can see all of this stuff over here is getting tinier and tinier. So I wanted something that would open up the mood again, right? I don't want to be this compact. So by adding this big cluster of leaves, it really gave me a lot of airspace. And it let me explore. Remember how I was saying the peach color here? And then the pink color here was letting me explore these leaves and kind of do a new color for myself in the color palette so far. It's letting me explore these new colors down here that I added, which was Da Vinci red tint and Da Vinci mint green. And it's allowing me to play with these colors, which I kind of like, and I'm getting used to them, right? So they're kind of new to me, but yet I'm seeing what they could do. So the mint green was there, and this is the Da Vinci red mixed with a little bit of the apricot. So this was 24, the egg was 25, and I went back here because the space, you can see it was just kind of empty right there, and I thought I would add 2 little half pans of watercolors, and that filled that space really nice. I didn't like it blank like that. I wanted a little bit more happening there. So this is the halfway point of 25, which is really fun. 26 was the half pans. 27 is this little bird. And you can see I used a little bit of this mint green here and a little bit of this dirty green back here and kind of combined the two. And this is what I came up with. And you can see it's got a little bit of brightness on the tail and a little bit of brightness here. And I really like the way that those two colors played together. So the darker green is Schminky Tundra Green, this color here. And it really is a granulating color, and adding it with that bright green just gave it that little bitty brightness, like a freshness. And it's spring here, so I want that little brighter color. From 27, I went to 28. I love the little Viewmasters They remind me of my childhood, and I wanted to create one of those. And then I put the word curiosity there, and then I wrote the little definition. I wanted this fairly light because I wanted you to go from the flower, from the leaves, to the bird, and then to down here. So you can see that it kind of bypasses that, where if I would have made these bolder, you would have really seen it. It's there in the design. It doesn't demand your attention. It lets you kind of flow through. And you could see this kind of flows up and around. So this was 28. 29 is this little piece that I found on the ground. It's nothing really. It's like a piece of wood that's been whittled down, and it kind of reminded me of a pencil, but I really, really liked it. I found it in a parking lot and just brought it home, and it became one of my random things. So this was 29. The little bunny here is 30. I had a little flower drawn in his hands, but I didn't like the flower because it didn't feel like me. So then I was like, okay, let me add some tiny leaves. And that's what I did, was add those tiny leaves. And when I did that, I was like, yes, that feels so much better. So that was 31. 32, this is a Tim Holtz, his little bitty mushrooms. And I just painted a couple there because I liked the way this design. So if you follow this up and around, it kind of takes you around like that. And I like that. I like that design, and I liked them. I kept them kind of light so that your focus really was this little sweet face on this rabbit. And then 32 was this. I collect like tags. Think of like tags off of clothing, how some are really long and skinny, some are made of fabric, some are made square, some are long and skinny this way. I just really like this square one. And then I just decided to use a K for my name. And then I've been playing around with circles. So I just decided to do 4 circles here, and you'll notice that over here I made a bigger circle, so it kind of goes small to big and kind of creates a line here in the design, which I really, really liked. So that was 32. The mushrooms were 33. Then we went on to 34. I love rose hips. It took our roses forever to get rose hips on them. And when they finally did, let me tell you, I have about 800 pictures. So putting them in just a really tiny vase, I like that it was just small, but that these have all this airspace. I mean, look at the design of that. So remember that I told you that this kind of brought you here and around, and then this took you up and over. So again, this took you up, around, and then around the circle, and then up and over. So that was 34. This little marble was 35, and again, it was a continuation of this. That's why I just made it just a little bit larger. And then 36, again, it's just another tag, and then I used a stencil, found and curated. And from 36, then I went to 37, which was a big leaf. Again, I got really tight and really little. Look at all these little things, right? Little, 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 little. And so I needed something big as an open relief again. So something that would take up a little bit of space without being a lot of things. So that's where I put the leaf in there. So from the leaf, you can see here that it gives a really nice design element. It kind of takes you up and around. Do you see what I did with that? I kind of curved this up. So it came up, down the leaf, up the hearts to the pear. Now look how bold that pear is. What happens in the meantime is this is there, but it really doesn't demand your attention. So you're looking at it, but it kind of gets bypassed, and I'm okay with that. So this was 37, this was 38. The word field notes, I have a label that said field notes, but I didn't make the label. I just liked the words. So the words were 39. The little acorn here on the side is 40. The little pear and the pedestal is 41. And then these 2 hearts here are 42. Now I have to say that I'm not much of a blue person, But remember, one of the things about this color chart is I really wanted to explore a deeper blue. So normally I was using indanthrone blue, but I decided to put this indigo blue on there, and I am really, really loving that indigo, especially as it melts with some of these other colors. Like, I loved it with the Titan Buff, but I really liked it with the lavender, and I liked it with the Hematite Genuine, Violet Genuine, which gave it kind of a granulating color. So as I put it here, I wanted it to feel almost like a cornflower blue. So I added lavender and Titan Buff to it to make it a little lighter. And I started with a little darker here, and then as I got down lower, I let it go a little lighter in value. And by splashing it, it gave it a really nice look, at least to me it did. And I also discovered indigo and the Hematite Violet Genuine up here, and I love the richness of this. It just looks so gorgeous. So from there, let's see, we're at 42. Then I went to this little guy. He is 43. The branches here of Star Magnolia branches are 44. The little owl, I have a little bitty owl that I just bought in an antique store, and he's 45. I found a washer at the store in the parking lot, and that became number 46. I just like the idea of hanging a circle there. I don't know why, I just thought it would look kind of cool. When I had him drawn, I knew I wanted something up here that could give me a lot of elements up in the space here without being too heavy. I didn't want it heavy because I have this heavy in color, and I knew he's kind of black, white, and red, so it's going to be heavy this way. So I kind of pulled your eye forward with the ring here, and then to the next element, and you can see how bold they are. So from here, they kind of go up, over, up, down, okay? So all this up here, that's why it's done in lighter colors and not too defined with darkness, because I just wanted it to be there, but not really gain your attention. When it came time to the paper crane here, at first I had him on top of some of the branches, but he felt too heavy because then it went from him to up here where the crane was. And then I decided to just add this and do two big circles like it was sitting on. And this is actually from a picture that I took of a billiard ball and the paper crane that I have. And I just like the two things sitting together. One is really hard, one is paper, so one reflects a lot, one doesn't. And you can see here I've got the really bright shine and no shine here. I like the juxtaposition of colors there. And I like that it didn't seem normal that it would be balancing on this tiny circle. But I also like that the flow here went from, you know, all these circles on the wheels, circle to his head, circle here, circle, circle. I like that a lot. It just gave you kind of a nice flow. And it really kind of made you miss the crane, because this is where I wanted you focused so that you went here to here. That is why I did this yellow and not a bolder color. Had I done that like a bright red or a bright orange, you really would have seen it. But I wanted it to kind of be there, but not really noticeable. And then this little pencil here, I have a little stub of a pencil, and I just decided to put it here, but do it in like an orangish color. I did it this color to kind of pull from here so that you would look for something similar and do that. And then I decided to add the dice up there. So this was 46. The circles were 47. The crane was 48. The little crayon here was 49. And then the date is 50. So this is 50 days in, and I am having a blast. I am playing, I am finding new and exciting ways to stack things. Like, look at this stack. Nothing really goes together, but I love stacking things like that. This one goes together a little better because they're all kind of nature, but then he's standing on a pencil, which really makes no sense at all. But then putting them together like this just makes me happy. It's like little tiny groupings of things that I love. So when I look at this, you know, these are things that I've collected over 10 years, and I keep in little bitty totes, right? So it is so much fun pulling them out and actually using them for something other than just photography. I'm actually painting them and working with them and changing the colors and making them my own. You know, this is a favorite necklace of mine that was handmade by my friend. These are just things that I found in the yard in a parking lot, but they make me happy because they're found elements. And I love when I can repurpose something found and give them, you know, prominence here. Who would have thought of a rusty old washer that you found in a parking lot and put it in your art? That's the kind of things that I like to challenge myself with. Now, as I go forward, what I'm planning on is I'm going to push my skills a little bit more, right? I want to be bolder, and I want to actually use this part of the color chart a little bit more. I've been playing around with some of the lighter versions, but it takes a lot for me to go really this bold. And you can see I'm getting there, right? I am adding some darks here. I've added some darks here. These two darks here are what really push me into, that's what I want for the future. Because you can see from back here, there really aren't that many darks. There's the dark of the handle here, but everything else is fairly light. So I think pushing me into the darker stage will be a lot of fun. And I wanted to talk to you too about how I design the next pages. I usually design several elements before I start painting. So from here, I will probably draw 51, 52, 53, just so that I can work out the space. And how I've been doing that is I work on tracing paper a lot. So you can see, like, I've got tracing paper with the word field notes. Here's where I drew the little crane. It just helps me figure out, like, is that too big? Do I want the flow to kind of go out this way? You know, look at what it would do here, a square or a big number, right? It allows me to see through, but it also lets me kind of work out. And sometimes it might not work where I think it's gonna work. So maybe if I was thinking like something like this here, and I just feel like, oh, it's too heavy, I need something bigger over here. You know, it might work down here, but it's already drawn on tracing paper, which has been a really, really nice thing to have. So I hope you have enjoyed seeing day 1 through day 50 of my 100-day project. And I am so excited to do the next 50. Having the limited palette has really given me a lot of color choices that I haven't been using. We changed the palette for this project, and it's like rejuvenating my color sense. And that in itself has been really fun and really challenging. But then using things that I love and putting them in random ways like this to create just random art that just makes me happy when I look at it. I mean, can you think of a better way to spend every day? I really can't. If you were inspired by my progress of my 100 days of random things so far, please like, comment, or subscribe. I would love to know your thoughts on the project so far. Thanks so much for watching.